In a perfect world, every star athlete would walk away at the perfect time. There'd be no concern with an athlete leaving the game too early or watch their career slip away on them. But as we all know, sports are far from perfect, and often we don't get to see athletes retire at the perfect time. In some cases, it was just because they lost the love of playing the game anymore. In others, injury concerns forced the hands of these athletes, made them walk away before they were ready to go. Whatever the reason may be in each individual scenario, it's always tough for the sports world when it loses an icon before anyone's ready for that. In this video, we'll take a look at the 10 greatest players who retired too soon. But before we begin, kindly subscribe to our channel for more of our amazing content. Please give us a like, share the video, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell for timely updates of our latest uploads. Let's get it on. Number 1. Barry Sanders, football. Perhaps the most impressive running back ever to play the game, Barry Sanders never rushed for under 1,100 yards in a season and averaged nearly 10 touchdowns per season. He was just 30 at the time of his retirement and ran for 1,491 yards the year before, but decided his career had come to an end. This goes down as one of the more shocking retirement announcements that the sports world has seen. Shortly after turning 31 years old in 1999, Sanders announced his retirement from the NFL. The Detroit Lions superstar held records for most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, 10, and the most seasons with at least 1,100 rushing yards at 10, tied with Walter Payton. Number 2. Brandon Roy, basketball. Roy was starting to come on as a star in the league for the Portland Trail Blazers, averaging over 20 points per game in his third and fourth seasons. But in his fifth season, he took a massive step back at 12.2 points per game before retiring the next year because of injuries. He gave it another go in 2012-13, but played just 5 games for the Timberwolves. At the start, Roy immediately burst onto the scene by winning the Rookie of the Year award in 2007 and averaged 20 points per game in his first 4 seasons in the league. There were few players that were as explosive as Roy, a couple with the ability to shoot from beyond the arc. However, the Trailblazers star had several knee injuries and ended up announcing his retirement in 2012 before returning for one more season with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He officially called it quits at the tender age of 29. Number 3. Sandy Koufax, baseball. A 6-time MLB All-Star, 4-time World Series champion, and 3-time Cy Young Award winner, Koufax was one of the most dominant pitchers that the MLB had ever seen. The Dodgers star ace could have continued to change the history of the game if he didn't have elbow troubles in his career. He was one of the most dominant left-handers in the history of Major League Baseball and helped lead the Los Angeles Dodgers to 4 World Series titles. The star pitcher was also a 2-time World Series MVP. At the time of his retirement, Koufax was age 30. Number 4. Eric Cantona, soccer. French midfielder Eric Cantona retired in 1997 at age 30, while still at the absolute height of his game. Besides a boring old legacy of general greatness, he also left behind a string of head-scratching quotes, a hard-won reputation for occasional insanity, and the coolest piece of football fashion since Adidas unveiled their 3 stripes. The Manchester United midfielder could have kept it up for at least 5 more years, or maybe even longer in the lower leagues. But instead, he left with 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, and 1 FWA Player of the Year award. Number 5. Michael Jordan, basketball. If you're talked about players that retired in their prime, Michael Jordan can definitely be the poster child. While Jordan did eventually return to the Chicago Bulls in March 1995, his abrupt exit from the game in 1993, age 30, was truly jaw-dropping when it happened. Jordan elected to retire following the Bulls' first three-peat in the early 1990s and pursued a baseball career after his father was murdered in 1993. The Hall of Famer played in the Chicago White Sox system for a season before making his triumphant return to the NBA. He retired again in 1998 after a second Bulls three-peat, and one of his Hall of Fame teammates says Chicago would have added more hardware to the jewelry box if MJ and the Bulls had stayed together. Number 6. Bjorn Borg, tennis. Swedish sensation Bjorn Borg burst onto the tennis scene in 1972 at the age of 15. Over the course of his career, Borg became the first men's tennis player in the Open era to win 11 Grand Slam titles, with 6 coming at the French Open and 5 at Wimbledon. He also became the first player to win 6 French Open titles and was considered the best player in the world from 1977 to 1980. Borg retired at 26 years old due to being burnt out because of constant attention as the face of the sport. Number 7. Rocky Marciano, boxing. Former world heavyweight boxing champion and one of the greatest boxers of all time, Rocky Marciano is the only person in history who is undefeated throughout his career. After playing both baseball and football during his days at Brockton High School, he joined the Army for a term of 2 years in 1943. After a short 3-week session with the Chicago Cubs baseball team, he was debuted as a professional boxer on July 12, 1948, against Harry Bilzerian. He won his first 16 matches by knockout, which 9 came in the first round. He participated in 49 boxing matches throughout his career and won all of them, including 43 knockouts. Rocky held his world heavyweight title from September 23, 1952 to April 27, 1956. He defended his title 6 times against Jersey Joe Walcott, Roland Lastarza, Don Cockle, Archie Moore, and twice against Izard Charles. He announced his retirement at the age of just 32 in 1956. Number 8. Bo Jackson, football and baseball. Some regard Jackson as the greatest athlete to ever play any sport. That's how good he was. He was able to play both football and baseball and play at a high level. A freak injury to his hip hampered his ability to continue playing sports, or we could have seen Jackson write one of the craziest stories, dominating at both sports. Jackson averaged 5.4 yards per carry during his NFL career and racked up 16 touchdowns. In addition, the two-sport star also put together a strong MLB career. Jackson hit .250 with 141 home runs and 415 RBI in time with the Kansas City Royals, Chicago White Sox, and California Angels, and was the MVP of the 1989 MLB All-Star Game. He hanged his boots at age just 28. Number 9. Andrew Luck, football. The first overall pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, Luck was 6 years into his career and had just thrown for 4,593 yards and 39 touchdowns, just shy of his career high set in 2014. He signed a 6-year contract in 2016 but retired in 2019 in a move that shocked the entire country due to lingering injuries. Luck had put together 4 Pro Bowl seasons since being the top pick in the 2012 NFL Draft and replacing Hall of Famer Peyton Manning. The star quarterback led the league in passing touchdowns in just his 3rd NFL season and also became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 370 yards, 4 touchdowns, and have a completion percentage of at least 70% in consecutive games. He retired aged 29. Number 10. Jim Brown, football. Much like Barry Sanders, Jim Brown retired when he was still putting up monster numbers on a yearly basis. Brown retired after just 9 seasons and was coming off a season in which he rushed for 1,544 yards and tied his previous career high of 17 touchdowns. The Cleveland Browns star tailback averaged 104.3 rushing yards per contest, 5.2 yards per carry over the course of his career. He was one of the most lethal running backs in the league and widely considered one of the greatest NFL players of all time when he walked away in the prime of his career. He retired aged 29. Did you enjoy our video? Who among these athletes was your favorite? Well, if you enjoyed our video, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more of our amazing content. Please give us a like, share the video, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell for timely updates of our latest uploads. We value your feedback. Feel free to share your thoughts with us in the comments section below.